Taipei shooting first on target number 1. The previous match.
Roy Cortez there, our line judge, has declared the range clear. Chinese Taipei on target 1 will shoot first. Li Qianying, Peng Jiemao, and Tan Yating, who we'll also see a little bit later on today. Wind's just picked up a little bit now. A bit of a spread there for Chinese Taipei, 23 out of a possible 30. So Mexico will shoot their first arrows. Aida Roman, Alejandra Valencia, and Ana Paul Vasquez.
Bien, muy bien. 3 a las 12. Bien tirado. Venga, Pau. Ahí calma un poco, Pau. Pero firme, bien completo. Bien, muy bien. 8.8 a las 9. Bien tirado, Pau. Fuerte al centro.
The wind's looking a little calmer here at the moment on everything. You see the Mexican team's arrows were a little bit high on the target, but all right there within the 10-9-8 area that you would like to see. Just as in the last match, you see several of these bucket hats that seem to be the preferred style for the recurve archer. Keeps it from making contact with the bowstring like a traditional ball cap might have, and yet provides them good shade for both their eyes and sunburn effect.
Nice 10 to finish there, 52 out of a possible 60. Mexico can get to 55 here. You see the wind is quite steady. Just a slight crosswind. Good start for Mexico. A 17-year-old Vasquez shooting second. So this one's just slipped away. With that 7, Mexico can get a maximum score of 51 here, so Chinese Taipei will take the first set and crucially go 2-0 up, Vic.
These matches go really fast, so it's very important to try to get an early lead to give you a little bit of cushion room. Early in these matches, too, they oftentimes are working out their nerves on the first round or two, kind of getting settled back in from what they were on the practice range. Here we see with the Falco eye, Mexico they're high. Both teams are high on everything. You only see one arrow below center, so that must be slightly different wind conditions from the practice field. It's only about 100 meters away. Likewise, you see a lot of arrows on the left-hand side. So that tells me the average is that's probably slightly different wind from the practice field. Let's see which one of these teams adjusts quickest to these conditions.
Yeah, well, the practice field is very, very open, and here, as you got a very quick shot down the range, it's enclosed on the shooting line on the finals range and open in the last 35 to 40 meters. So the conditions very different.
Range clear.
Roy Cortez clears us for the start of the second set here in the Recurve Women's Team Gold medal match at third stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup in Salt Lake City.
Bien. Línea entre 9 y 8 las dos.
Still a little high. You see her making a side adjustment there.
Buena forma, disparo completo, firme.
The 17-year-old, ranked 155th in the world as an individual, just having a couple of errant arrows over the last couple of sets.
Bien. 8.8. Bien tirado. Venga, venga. Respiro, me enfoco. Ale a las 8. Ok. 8. Venga, con pura forma, pura forma.
Lovely smooth draw there from Li Chen-ying. Very stable, Vic.
Yeah, an Olympian with a lot of experience.
Lovely shooting there. 29 out of a possible 30, Vic. You talked about the conditions, but it seems to me, as you indicated, Chinese Taipei handling the pressure better.
Yeah, the pressure is always a big factor in these. It takes just a little bit of nerve sometimes to make a big difference in your sight picture or to make some small mistake when you lose focus momentarily. Right now, Mexico can't afford to give up another match and put themselves in a close position here going into the final round, or what could become the final round.
Well, as you say, it could all be over in the next set if Chinese Taipei continue to dominate as they have done. 18 out of a possible 20 for the fourth and fifth arrows, though, from Mexico, and that's not a bad finish with a 9 as well, but 11 off the maximum of 60. And as you can see, with 3 arrows left, Chinese Taipei could score 59 here.
These wind conditions are slightly calmer than yesterday, so we aren't seeing as many big mistakes that we saw on the compound field with the heavy gusting wind that we saw yesterday. Chinese Taipei seems to be dialed in here. They figured out this wind, and they're making good, smooth shots.
So just a 2 to level and get a single set point, the way they've been shooting, though. You're going to get more than that, and it's another clear set for Chinese Taipei, 56 to 49, and another 2 set points. Chinese Taipei are running away with this.
So now moving forward to the next match, they only have to tie the following one.
And here is the last end, the arrows from Chinese Taipei.
Again, you see that every arrow is on the high side. Just as before, every arrow is high. These archers, even though they've made some adjustments, they have not adjusted enough for these wind conditions.
Is that a headwind, or why is that just aiming wrong?
Well, it's probably a wind shift. We did see a little bit of a headwind on the field there earlier when we were standing down there, but I don't know what they're experiencing there at the moment. And typically a headwind will knock the arrows down, but maybe it's a lighter headwind than what they experienced on the practice field.
Well, here we see the accuracy and consistency from Chinese Taipei, hitting 10 after 10 as Li's last one. Mexico still in good spirits, but they've got their work cut out for them. Set 3. Mexico trailing by 4 set points to 0 against Chinese Taipei. They will shoot first, and they need to shore things up here. A good start, crucial, you'd fancy here. Good sighter there, Roman handing over to Vasquez.
I saw her make a slight adjustment to her sight as well there, so she's trying to get it dialed in.
Better from Vasquez. Well, all in the nines, 27 out of a possible 30. The third arrow there for Valencia, just going across to the right, so a tiny over adjustment perhaps. Pressure was applied by Mexico, but Chinese Taipei responding, starting off the third set with a 10.
And the sevens, that's a little bit wide, so now this kind of ties us up for the set almost, or actually a slight advantage because they have a narrow yet to go.
Peng there, dropping that one to the right as well. So Mexico with a slight advantage here. They need to keep their nerves calm and shoot as well as they did in the first half of this set. Again, just drifting off to the left.
Yeah, they're still running left on everything. Mexico has to win this set to keep it alive. Chinese Taipei can't afford to lose a set, possibly even two, although they want to finish it out while they have the opportunity. Excellent grouping with the Mexican team there. Just a little bit left, a little bit high, but the grouping is very, very good.
Well, good adjustment there from the Mexicans, 54 out of a possible 60.
Yeah, that's a good solid score for these wind conditions.
Well, Chinese Taipei technically can score 55 here. Start with a 9, so the best they can do is draw here, but they need 2 maximums. Otherwise, Mexico will strike back with 2 set points and close the gap to the Chinese Taipei team. Lee there into the 9, so confirmed with an arrow running at 209 kilometers per hour. They fly at phenomenal speeds, these arrows.
As archers, we typically measure them in feet per second. Most of these bows are approximately 200 to 210 feet per second. I guess that's, well, in kilometers per hour there, it's probably about 140 miles per hour as well.
Well, there you go. Mexico struck back in the third set, and they needed to.
10, 9, 9.
Crucially, they just started to shore things up, and as Vic mentioned, the groupings were very, very solid. In fact, here they are.
So the Mexico team has a very tight group, just a little bit off to the left. So they're still running left, but they got some of that up and down adjusted out from the previous end.
Well, momentum, crucial in all sports, just happens to have switched over very slightly to the Mexicans. They will shoot first as they still trail by 4 set points to 2.
So again, Mexico has to win this set to keep it alive. A tie would result in a Chinese Taipei victory.
Yeah, 5 points required for a win in the set system in recurve archery.
Prepara bien tu disparo. Observa, vas a compensar. Buena forma. Bien, bien.
Still a little on the left-hand side.
Well, Olympic silver medalist there, still striking a 9, shooting first, and it looks like she's shooting last, Vic, order all important. It's a 17-year-old Vasquez. Well, she goes inside that, grouping still to the left, but still very close.
Yes, and you mentioned the order. The order is a strategy that these teams employ. Oftentimes they want to put their best pressure shooter at the end or their fastest shooter at the end. You know, sometimes they want somebody good at the beginning to get things off, or they're more versatile shooter in the middle. There's strategies these teams employ to get the most performance out of their team.
Well, 27 out of a possible 30 for Mexico, and a 7 for Chinese Taipei to start the fourth set for them. They now need maximums to draw level at the halfway point in this set. Well, dropping 2 again, as they did in the previous set. Mexico have an opportunity to draw level. And a great start there. Valencia shooting a 10. And another 9 from the 17-year-old. She's just got better and better through this gold medal match. And Mexico finished things off in this set with the Olympic silver medalist. And another 9. They've adjusted, but perhaps a tiny bit more over to the right. A maximum required from Chinese Taipei here just to draw level. But of course, if they do draw level, they'll get a set point and win the match. And a 9 means that Mexico are going to draw level, and we're going to go into a final set, a thrilling final set with the teams tied up on 4 set points each. Vic, you mentioned this earlier on. When you know the set's gone, what's going through their minds?
At that point, for me, usually, I'm just trying to relax and get things comfortable, get my sight set, get the feeling of the shot, so that way you're better prepared when you go up for your next shot that counts.
So training for the final set here, and finishing with a 10, but 55 plays 53 in favor of Mexico. They were 4 set points to 0 down, the Mexicans, and they've drawn level in sets 3 and 4. So 4 apiece.
This is going to be exciting. We get to watch them shoot it off here for the final. See who wins the match.
10, 9.
And here are the Mexican arrows from that previous set.
I'm sorry, as you look at that target face right there, you can still see all those arrow holes to the left. But they have centered their group up much better and seem to have relaxed into a little bit more of a rhythm here towards the end of the match.
And those last 3 arrows just drifting over to the right in a very, very tight group.
Yeah, they finally got some over on the right-hand side after going most of the match.
So Roy Cortez just waiting for the range to be clear. The agents are down at the end of the range, and in fact they're changing the targets over. And with the scores tied up, how does this now work, Vic?
So we're gonna have a shoot-off, and each person from each team will shoot 1 arrow. They go first by score, and then if they're tied on score, the team whose arrow is closest to the middle will win.
And there you go, they're just resetting the targets, and that's just to make sure that if they have to measure that the target's clear.
Exactly. They want to make sure that target is perfectly clean and clear so they can get a precise measurement on a closest to the center arrow.
Well, the crowd getting right behind this here in these sunny and hot conditions. And the athletes looking like they're getting into it as well, enjoying the rowdy atmosphere here in Salt Lake City. They put on a good show here, the hosts.
It's amazing how quickly these matches can turn around sometimes. Chinese Taipei got off to a strong lead, and the momentum shifted. Mexico brought it back, and here we are in an exciting shoot-off final. This is the most pressure that you'll see in one of these matches.
Well, gold up for grabs here in the Recurve women's team event. Chinese Taipei shot first in the first set, and they'll shoot first again here with the scores tied up. They're on target 1. Well, what a great start. 1 arrow at a time per team.
Manténlo bien.
Well, door wide open now. A 6 down and to the left.
Atento al tiempo.
Pressure or a gust of wind?
Buena forma, espalda fuerte.
Oh, brilliant. Another 10 from Chinese Taipei with the pressure on. Huge amounts of pressure on the 17-year-old Vasquez here.
Bien. 8.8.
Well, Mexico can get a maximum of 24 here. So Chinese Taipei just need to get a 5 and this is over. Well, 3 10s in the tiebreaker. You can't ask for more than that.
That is as good as it gets. That's what you want to see out of a gold medal final there.
Grande, fuerte, mantén. 4, 3, 2.
Well, we're time ticking away. A 22 for Mexico out of a possible 30, not good enough. And the final set point goes to Chinese Taipei. They led 4-0 after 2. The Mexicans pegged them back to 4-4, but under pressure in the tiebreaker, they got a maximum of 30 points. There's Lee in the middle there, just on the right-hand side. Now she's delighted with the team's performance, as is the coach. Thumbs up all round, and confirmation that Chinese Taipei have taken the Recurve women's team gold here at stage 3 of the Hyundai Archery World Cup in Salt Lake City. Well, here are a comparison of the tiebreaker arrows, Vic, and that grouping in the middle there, the yellow ones for Chinese Taipei, incredible.
That is incredible. It almost wouldn't have mattered what Mexico did in this situation. It is really hard to beat a 30.
Well, you can only match it. And here are highlights of a brilliant match. It twist and turn, Chinese Taipei having the advantage early on. Mexico striking back. But Chinese Taipei cool under pressure in the tiebreaker, scoring a maximum 30 out of 30 to take the Recurve women's team gold here in Salt Lake City. Well, here we go. Confirmation of the final rankings here in the Recurve women's team event. Chinese Taipei taking the gold from Mexico in silver, and Japan beating the USA for the bronze medal. And the women's event is now over. But we'll switch over to the Recurve men's team bronze medal match. Malaysia versus Italy coming up very soon. Well, you can see here in the basin, just over 1,200 meters high in Salt Lake City, surrounded by mountains, and looking down that range, Vic, 17 meters long. And I mean, these guys are so consistent. We talk about groupings, we talk about them hitting that yellow in the middle, and it's amazing when you look at it at 70 meters what they're actually trying to hit.
Yeah, they're trying to hit something that's about the size of a grapefruit. The X ring there is a little smaller than an apple. The 10 ring's a little bit bigger than an apple. That's a 3/4 the length of an American football field.
Well, there you go. An apple, everyone knows how big an apple is. That's what they're hitting from 70 meters. Time and time again. It's been absolutely incredible. But before we get to the men's bronze medal match, it's time to celebrate the women's team and the medal ceremonies here in Salt Lake City.
The medals will be presented by Olympic archery gold medalist Jay Bars. The gifts will be presented by JASD Easton board member Sarah Duvall. Bronze medal representing Japan. Ren Hayakawa. Yuki Hayashi. Tomoka Ohashi. Silver medal representing Mexico.
Step up.
Aida Roman.
Well done.
Alejandra Valencia.
And one for you.
Ana Paula Vasquez. Gold medal representing Chinese Taipei.
How are you doing? Long time no see.
Le Xian Wing.
Congratulations.
Teng Chiamao.
Well done.
Tan Yati.
I like your Batman. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the anthem of Chinese Taipei. Please congratulate our athletes, ladies and gentlemen.